and a very low, hurried, yet still arch voice said, "Monsieur, vous me faites mal. De grâce, lâchez un peu ma main droite." In truth, I became aware that I was holding the said main droite in a somewhat ruthless grasp. I did as desired. "Frances, how much regard have you for me?" "Mon maître, j'en ai beaucoup," was the truthful rejoinder. "Frances, have you enough to give yourself to me as my wife, to accept me as your husband?" I felt the agitation of her heart. I saw the purple light of love cast its glowing reflection on cheeks, temples, neck. I desired to consult the eye, but sheltering lash and lid forbade. "Monsieur," said the soft voice at last, "monsieur désire savoir si je consens, si je veux me marier avec lui. Justement, monsieur serait-il aussi bon mari qu'il a été bon maître?" "I will try, Frances." A pause, then with a new, yet still subdued inflection of the voice, an inflection which provoked while it pleased me, accompanied too by a sourire à la fois fin et timide, in perfect harmony with the tone. "C'est-à-dire, monsieur sera toujours un peu entêté, exigeant, volontaire." Have I been so, Frances? Mais oui, vous le savez bien. Have I been nothing else? Mais oui, vous avez été mon meilleur ami. And what, Frances, are you to me? Votre dévoué élève, qui vous aime de tout son cœur. Will my pupil consent to pass her life with me? Speak English now, Frances. Some moments were taken for reflection. The answer, pronounced slowly, ran thus: "You have always made me happy. I like to hear you speak. I like to see you. I like to be near you. I believe you are very good and very superior. I know you are stern to those who are careless and idle, but you are kind, very kind, to the attentive and industrious, even if they are not clever. Master, I should be glad to live with you always." And she made a sort of movement, as if she would have clung to me; but restraining herself, she only added with earnest emphasis, "Master, I consent to pass my life with you." "Very well, Frances." I drew her a little nearer to my heart. I took a first kiss from her lips, thereby sealing the compact, now framed between us. Afterwards she and I were silent, nor was our silence brief. Frances's thoughts during this interval I know not, nor did I attempt to guess them. I was not occupied in searching her countenance, nor in otherwise troubling her composure. The peace I felt, I wished her to feel. My arm, it is true, still detained her, but with a restraint that was gentle enough, so long as no opposition tightened it. My gaze was on the red fire; my heart was measuring its own content; it sounded and sounded, and found the depth fathomless. "Monsieur," at last said my quiet companion, as stirless in her happiness as a mouse in its terror. Even now, in speaking, she scarcely lifted her head. "Well, Frances?" I like unexaggerated intercourse. It is not my way to overpower with amorous epithets, any more than to worry with selfishly importunate caresses. "Monsieur est raisonnable, n'est-ce pas?" "Yes, especially when I am requested to be so in English. But why do you ask me? You see nothing vehement or obtrusive in my manner. Am I not tranquil enough?" "Ce n'est pas cela," began Frances. "English," I reminded her. "Well, monsieur, I wished merely to say that I should like, of course, to retain my employment of teaching. You will teach still, I suppose, monsieur?" "Oh, yes, it is all I have to depend on." "Bon, I mean good. Thus we shall both have the same profession. I like that. And my efforts to get on will be as unrestrained as yours, will they not, monsieur?" You are laying plans to be independent of me," said I. "Yes, monsieur. I must be no encumbrance to you, no burden in any way. But, Frances, I have not yet told you what my prospects are. I have left Monsieur Pelet's, and after nearly a month's seeking, I have got another place, with a salary of 3,000 francs a year, which I can easily double by a little additional exertion. Thus, you see, it would be useless for you to fag yourself by going out to give lessons. On 6,000 francs you and I can live, and live well." Frances seemed to consider. There is something flattering to man's strength, something consonant to his honourable pride, in the idea of becoming the providence of what he loves, feeding and clothing it, as God does the lilies of the field. So to decide her resolution, I went on. "Life has been painful and laborious enough to you so far, Frances. You require complete rest. Your 1,200 francs would not form a very important addition to our income, and what sacrifice of comfort to earn it! Relinquish your labours, you must be weary, and let me have the happiness of giving you rest." I am not sure whether Frances had accorded due attention to my harangue. Instead of answering me with her usual respectful promptitude, she only sighed and said, "How rich you are, monsieur!" and then she stirred uneasy in my arms. 3,000 francs, she murmured, while I get only 1,200. She went on faster. "However, it must be so for the present. And, monsieur, were you not saying something about giving up my place? Oh, no, I shall hold it fast." And her little fingers emphatically tightened on mine. "Think of my marrying you to be kept by you, monsieur. I could not do it. And how dull my days would be! You would be away teaching in close, noisy schoolrooms from morning till evening, and I should be lingering at home, unemployed and solitary. I should get depressed and sullen, and you would soon tire of me." "Frances, you could read and study, two things you like so well." "Monsieur, I could not. I like a contemplative life, but I like an active life better. I must act in some way, and act with you. I have taken notice, monsieur, that people who are only in each other's company for amusement never really like each other so well, or esteem each other so highly, as those who work together, and perhaps suffer together." "You speak God's truth," said I at last, "and you shall have your own way, for it is the best way. Now, as a reward for such ready consent, give me a voluntary kiss." After some hesitation, natural to a novice in the art of kissing, she brought her lips into very shy and gentle contact with my forehead. I took the small gift as a loan, and repaid it promptly and with generous interest. I know not whether Frances was really much altered since the time I first saw her, but as I looked at her now, I felt that she was singularly changed for me. The sad eye, the pale cheek, the dejected and joyless countenance I remembered as her early attributes were quite gone, and now I saw a face dressed in graces. Smile, dimple, and rosy tint rounded its contours and brightened its hues. I had been accustomed to nurse a flattering idea that my strong attachment to her proved some particular perspicacity in my nature. She was not handsome, she was not rich, she was not even accomplished, yet was she my life's treasure. I must then be a man of peculiar discernment. Tonight my eyes opened on the mistake I had made. I began to suspect that it was only my tastes which were unique, not my power of discovering and appreciating the superiority of moral worth over physical charms. For me, Frances had physical charms. In her there was no deformity to get over, none of those prominent defects of eyes, teeth, complexion, shape, which hold at bay the admiration of the boldest male champions of intellect; for women can love a downright ugly man if he be but talented. Had she been either édentée, myope, rugueuse ou bossue.